Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now we get to start our third full unit, and we're moving away from North America, and we're going to look at a new area, and it's not necessarily just one continent we're looking at. We're going to look at a region we call Latin America. So Latin America consists of the South American continent, but also some of the land areas that's north of it, of Central America, Mexico, and the Caribbean. So today we're going to look just at the political geography of Latin America, meaning what countries make up this area. So we're going to look at those political borders and boundaries that have created the countries of all of Latin America. So earlier I said Latin America is not just one continent. It's made up of different areas. Yes, South America is the largest landmass within Latin America, but it's not the only part. We also have this area that we call Mexico and Central America, this area called the Caribbean Sea, and then the bulk of it, which is the continent of South America. So in total of those areas, there are 33 countries that we can look at. There's also 15 dependencies, also called territories of those areas. In fact, the United States has 2 territories in Latin America, Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So, why is it called Latin America? Do they speak Latin? No, they do not. Whenever the Europeans were coming over and exploring and establishing colonies, they mostly were from 3 different countries. They were from France, they were from Spain, and they were from Portugal. All 3 of those languages have their ancient roots from Latin. So they all stem from that ancient language of Latin. But if you travel to Latin America today, what types of languages are you most likely to hear? Well, French isn't spoken too much throughout Latin America. There are a few exceptions, such as French Guiana, which is a dependency of France still, and even the country of Haiti speaks mostly French. But if you travel to Latin America, the number 1 language you're most likely to hear is Spanish. Spanish is spoken throughout much of Latin America. The other major language of Latin America is Portuguese. And this map over here illustrates where you would see or hear most of these languages being spoken. The green area, which you can see is much of Latin America, is primarily Spanish speaking. Why? Because that area historically was colonized by the country of Spain. Spain had a very large territory in both North and South America. So much of this region primarily speaks Spanish. Brazil was colonized by Portugal. So Portuguese is the main language there. And then earlier I said French. You can see the country of Haiti, French Guiana there in blue. They do speak French. One exception, a country that primarily speaks English, this country of Belize, right in here, a little small one. So Belize was English territory. So if you travel to Latin America, you would probably like most of its climate. Much of Latin America's climate is warm. Why? The equator runs through it. And areas that are closer to the equator have those warmer climates. So a lot of these areas in the tropics have warm climates all year long. Now, if you get to some of the mountainous areas where the Andes Mountains run in western South America, those climates are going to be cooler because of the impact that the mountains have. So we said the equator, I'll even trace it for us. The equator runs right through South America. And so that's where it's going to be really warm all year long. But we have these other 2 lines of latitude on the map that we call the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer. And in between these areas is that area known as the tropics. And in those areas is where it's also going to have nice, warm temperatures all year long. So you can see much of Latin America falls within the tropics. Now, the areas that I said would have a milder climate is this area. Very big mountain range, the Andes Mountains in that area of South America. And so it's going to have a very big impact on the climate, making it cooler for that area of South America. So, just a closer look at the three regions that are within Latin America. I'm going to start with Central America and Mexico. So here's the United States up here in green. So just below it starts Latin America. So we have Mexico. Then you have a lot of little countries here in Central America as well. Same thing with the Caribbean. Here's Florida. The Caribbean Sea is just south of Florida. And you can see that it's just made up of a bunch of islands. Some of the islands are big islands. These are the ones that you may have heard of, the bigger islands, such as Cuba, the Bahamas, Jamaica. And these islands are called the Greater Antilles. They're mountainous islands mostly, with an exception for some of the Bahamas and Caymans. The smaller islands are more coral islands. So there's two different types of islands in the Caribbean. Now, I said that the United States has territories in Latin America. And so we have two territories, Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. We own those areas of land. So these are separate countries, and then some of these are countries, some of these are territories as well. And then South America. South America, usually the first thing we see in South America is this really big country. That biggest country in South America is Brazil. So Brazil really stands out on the map. But there's some other countries you probably have heard of as well. Argentina is a major country. Peru, Venezuela, Colombia, all major countries of South America. All right, so at this point, that takes us to the end of the notes for Lesson 1 of Unit 3. Go back into Google Classroom, check out your homework assignment. We'll see you next time.